Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we were reading the introduction, right? Oh, sorry, preface. Preface has a lot of stuff too. In my book, mine is old book, so it'll be different. It is the italic one, the page 2. But the paragraph that we're going to start, and one of you can tell the page number, the mantra portion contains expression of wonderment. We were talking about the different Vedas, उनके जो different sections हैं.
Same page, yeah.
Same page?
Yeah,
Okay.
Page
So,
2.
okay.
It's the same page.
Who wants to read? Who didn't read today?
I can read it.
Okay, Nareshji.
Although it's pretty big, so you can.
Yeah, you after a couple of paragraphs, give it to maybe whoever wants to.
The mantra portion contains expressions of wonderment, joy, and ecstasy, and the visions of beauty in nature's exuberance. The rishis worship through the mantras the dignity of the mountains, the majesty of the sunrise, the beauty of the moon, the grandeur of the ocean, and other phenomenal powers.
We are so lucky in San Diego. We have all of these beautiful things to look at very nicely, right? So they are saying, they were explaining, see, so this is very good to learn that what is in the Vedas, right? We want to know. First part it's called the mantra portion, and the next one is called Brahmana portion. Then comes Aranyaka. So he's describing the first portion of all the 4 Vedas are called mantras. And what are these mantras about? You know, expression of wonderment, joy, ecstasy. The whole poetry likh di unhone yahan par. You know, that jitne bhi nature, and those are easy to connect with. And sometimes even the Vedas don't have to tell. The moment you see something beautiful in nature, Bhagwan hi yaad aata hai humko. Because we know we haven't made it, right? That's what they're saying, that that's what is described. I thought this was a very nice way we know what is in the Vedas. Yeah.
The second section, that is Brahmana portion, contains detailed and scientific descriptions of the methods of ritualistic performances and methods to invoke the mighty powers behind nature to bless the devotees' desires into fulfillment. This section is further divided into 2 subsections, Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda. The grosser rituals, their rules, prescriptions for various yagnas and yagas from the first subsection, while comparatively subtler meditation that are part and parcel of the Vedika ritualism from the second subsection.
Form the second subsection. So what they are saying, ब्राह्मणास को 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया है ब्राह्मणास को. एक कर्म कांड, which is a very huge portions, I've heard, 80% of Vedas, because people have so many desires. And how to fulfill that desire, धर्म्स के साथ, ये नहीं कि कुछ उल्टा सीधा करके साम दाम दंड भेद, वो नहीं. धर्म के साथ you can fulfill any desire that you want. They have given rituals and things for everything. So कोई बोलेगा ये how that is possible, you know. Hey, करके देखो पहले, experiment तो पता चलेगा कि है कि नहीं. Like they say, you know, today Kamla ji is not there. They have a whole ritual how to rain कैसे fall होएगी. They do certain kind of havans, and it seems, we may not believe in it, but there's some science behind it. All those things that they burn, they go up and they create some atmosphere and the rain comes. Actually हो जाती है rain, you know. And then they say, you know, किसी को पुत्र प्राप्ति तो यज्ञ कर दो. भाई पुत्र प्राप्ति से यज्ञ कैसे हो सकता है, कोई बोलेगा हाँ ऐसे कैसे हो. लेकिन उसका जो एक रूल्स होता है, ये खाओ तुम, ये करो तुम, you know, ऐसे उठो वैसे उठो. जब आदमी रिलैक्स हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, then अपने आप things will happen, things like that. So there is a science behind it. We just don't know, so we may laugh at it. That's not true. Because to do any kind of rituals or not, they had a long list of things. यहाँ सो, ये खाओ, ये करो, वो करो, and all that helps to fulfill your desire. So that was one portion. Second was Upasana Kand, and we know the
The last
Upasana.
section is called.
हाँ, sorry, क्या कहा आपने नरेश जी? Okay.
मैं पढ़ने जा रहा था, किसी ने पूछा उपासना कांड के बारे में।
हाँ, so उपासना कांड क्या है कि prescription various yagnas and yagas, so subsection settler meditation. You know, some people say, okay, worldly desire अभी मेरी पूरी हो गई है, I don't care about that anymore. I want, you know, some other kind of connection with भगवान and all that. उसके लिए उपासना कांड है. So सबके लिए exactly like Bhagavad Gita. Hey, you want to fulfill your worldly desire? No problem. Come to the Vedas. We'll give you. There's a prescription how to do it. Follow this. You will get it. Then okay, I don't want that. I want some other connection with God. Here is a upasana, and we saw the whole Taittiriya Upanishad में कितना उपासना बताई थी उन्होंने. So you know how to connect to the Bhagwan through every kind of sambandh of dharti and akash and this and that and all that. Something like that is upasana kand.
The last section is called
Aranyaka.
Aranyaka. Aranya means forest. That can be studied only in the quiet Himalayan valleys in a mental climate of psychological and intellectual retirement from the stormy passions and the desires. This section is also known as Upanishad or Vedanta, Veda plus Anta minus the end of Vedas. This comprises the philosophical portion of the Vedas.
So then we saw that first portion was the mantra portion. Second portion was the Brahmana of the Vedas. All four Vedas have Brahmanas, and in Brahmana they divided into Karma Kand and Upasana Kand. The last portion is called Aranyaka. Aranya means forest. And then they said ki why did they call it forest? Because you to contemplate upon those things that they came up with, you need to get away from the worldly things. You know, like when I want to meditate upon God, then you have to withdraw yourself from the marketplace, from your work, come to your room and make like a forest type of atmosphere in your room, then you might be able to. Otherwise, all that noise and everything will disturb you. So these people, but what you need a mental climate of psychological and intellectual retirement from the stormy passions and desires. Then only these things will happen. So in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna Bhagwan taught us, you don't have to go to the jungles to actually learn Vedanta. You can learn it in battlefield. Why did he say battlefield? Because as householder, we are facing the battlefield every day of some kind or the other. And the color may be different of everybody's battles. The battle is there, right? Health battle, children's battle, this situation, that situation. We can still do it. That was a difference. But the people who came up with those principles, they had to go there and retire. Now we can use their conclusions and benefit right here in our home, but they had to go to the jungle. It's like something like this, huh? So how did that possible? So scientists, they have to go, पता नहीं कहाँ जाते हैं वो लोग, नॉर्थ पोल्स और ये क्या बोलते हैं अंटार्कटिका वगैरह में, हम लोग तो मर ही जाएंगे. वहाँ जाके सब रिसर्च करते हैं, फिर then they come up with conclusion and यहाँ घर बैठे हुए we enjoy that. Or like, you know, all the space क्या बोलते हैं research that they do, then the whole world benefits from it. You don't have to leave the jungles to benefit. That's how it is. You have to look at it. So these people, they sacrificed, they went to the jungles. That's where they kind of discussed all this, came up with these Vedantic principles. And the Upanishad is a conversation between teacher and a student or two people talking. And that is what we are studying in all these Taittiriya Upanishad. And that's also called Vedanta. End of Vedas means the last portion, bottom line, what they are trying to say. You don't have to go through the whole Brahmanas and mantras, and you can directly jump to Vedanta if you want to. But otherwise, you can go through the other things also if that's what you like. That's what they're trying to say.
The Taittiriya Upanishad, also called Bhavak Upanishad, belongs to Rig Veda and forms the 4th, 5th, and 6th chapter of the second Aranyakas of Atriya Brahmana. The 5th and 6th chapter, that is Anandavali and Bhriguvali put together are also known as Varuni Upanishad. While earlier portion of the Brahmana deals with karma as associated with meditation, the Atriya Upanishad is concerned only with knowledge of the self.
So somebody wants to know the history कि कहाँ से आया उसके लिए बताया है. If we don't know too much about Vedas, it's okay, but it's just telling you that it forms the 4th, 5th and 6th chapter of Aranyaka. And that portion is called Aitriya Brahmana. That's why it is, we have got all some names. And दूसरा नाम उसका, I had to do a little research to pronounce this word, because when you say in English, it makes a big mess. It's called Bruhachopanishad or something, I don't know the exact meaning, but that इसको उसके नाम से भी जाना जाता है. And then he was just saying that Varuni Upanishad भी बोलते हैं. The Anandavalli is there in there. When we go into it, then we will know all these things. Right now, that somebody is interested in the history of it, that's what they're saying.
Sankara calls it Atma Satka, prima facie. There are only 5 sections in this Upanishad. Sankara considers the concluding Shanti mantra as the independent section to make it Satka, that is 6th. The 4 Vedas have one major text or Mahavakya each. The importance of Atriya Upanishad can very well be gauged from the fact that Mahavakya of Rig Veda,
Prajnanam Brahma.
Jnanam Brahma, meaning consciousness is Brahman, is found in this Upanishad.
Okay, so there are a lot of things in there. Firstly, Shankaracharya ji. When he says Shankara, that's what he means. And even though English may, because there is a bindi on the end, so we don't say Sankara, we say Shankara. So Shankaracharya ji calls it Atma Shatak actually. Because when you say Shatak in English, again it messes it up. And what Shatak means, 6. The number 6 is called Shatak in Sanskrit. So he's saying that there are 5 sections and one Shanti mantra. Usko 6 number बना दिया मिला के. Atma Shatak. Firstly, the topic is knowledge of the self. That is the topic in this, like any other Upanishad. And so, but it's called Atma Shatak. That's one point he said. And then I had talked about these Mahavakyas before also. That entire Vedanta, they call it Mahavakya, means the great 4 sentences summarizes the entire thing. And you have heard of, everybody has heard of words like Aham Brahmasmi, Tat Tvam Asi, right? Those are the 2 Mahavakyas. Third one is Ayam Atma Brahma. That was in Mandukya Upanishad. So just to revise it, Aham Brahmasmi is Brahad Aranyaka Upanishad se aaya hai, Yajurved se aaya hai ye sentence. So सारे Yajurved का जो निचोड़ है ना, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. And then Tat Tvam Asi is come from Chandogya Upanishad. Samved se aaya hai wo. That means that you are. That's the meaning of in English. That means Bhagwan, or that consciousness you are. Ayam Atma Brahma. This self is Brahma. That came from Mandukya Upanishad, Atharva Ved. And this one is from Rig Ved, from Aitriya Upanishad, Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam means consciousness is Brahman. And consciousness, when they say in English, I am conscious of this, that is just a very small aspect of consciousness. Consciousness is very vast. Consciousness has an ability to make us conscious. But the Western world stops at that. I'm conscious. But our Eastern, it goes much beyond. Where is that conscious principle coming from? The consciousness which pervades everything. So this is, consciousness is Brahman, is coming from our Upanishad that we are studying right now. That's what it's saying.
It is one of the few Upanishads where the author, the Guru, the Rishi, is known as a Mahidasa at Aitriya. His father was a Brahmana named Vishala, and the mother was
Itra.
Literally the other. The story of how Mahidasa was denied the privilege of sitting in the lap of his father is narrated in the introduction. Itra, who was perhaps from the Potter community, noticed that the sad plight of her son and prayed, to her Isht Devata, namely goddess Earth. She appeared in a divine form, placed Mahidasa in a celestial seat, and imparted unrivaled wisdom. Thus was born from the potter Mahidasa the proletarian Rishi, the sage of the laborers and the son of the soil, the seer Aitreya. He attained godhood and authored his scripture for the common man and sang the song of Hindu culture.
Okay, in my book it says from the hut of the slum, but they removed it. Maybe some people found it offensive. Anyway, so here is telling you where this Aitreya Upanishad came. So the story goes that there was a author, a guru rishi. He became the guru of all of us. His name was Mahidas Aitreya. And his father's name was Vishala. But he had, in those days, some of those Rishi Muni, they married several women. And one of the women that he married was from a potter community, which was considered like a, low class or something like that, And uska naam tha Itra. And Itra ka matlab hai other. Kitna usme meaning hai, born from this other woman. Sad, huh? But the discrimination used to happen in those days also, looks like, huh? So sad, very sad. But uska jo final kitna acha result aaya. So it seems, anybody remembers any other story like when they were denied, you can't sit on your father's lap because you are born of the other?
Born of the other, yeah.
Which one is that? Dhruva की story है, Dhruv, because he had Dhruv Maharaj, because उसको भी father के लिए ऐसे ही इसकी माँ ने ताना दिया था, उसकी जो step mother थी, step mother ने बोला तू लायक नहीं है बैठने के, ये है वो है. Then he started crying and he went to his mother and mother said, you are crying for this Singhasan, why don't you go for the highest Singhasan? Then he goes and does क्या बोलते tapasya, and then he attained Bhagwan, and when he came back everybody fell at his feet. Including his father. So that's what the story is. So in the similar way, over here, the boy was discriminated against. And so he came crying to his mother, whose name was Itra. And the mother, because she was from the potter community, her Ishta Devta was the Dharti. So she she probably cried and prayed to the Dharti that, look, my child is being, harassed like this, do something. So it's a Bhumi Devi appeared and gave the knowledge of Brahman to him. And he became a rishi. वो उसको potter से rishi बना दिया. And that's why he's saying that उसका नाम Mahidas Aitreya है, because he was coming from the mother Itra, other. And, sorry?
Other mother, yeah.
Yeah, so but that's how the Aitreya word came. But the word became so kind of pious. And he's saying that proletarian rishi means low, coming from a people who like to divide the society into high class, low class and all that. Low class, but he attained the highest thing, and it says the son of the soil seer, Aitreya. So when he talks about something, you connect to, everybody connects to him because his language is such, Otherwise, it's some hi-fi language you speak, some professorial language, then ordinary people cannot understand. But he came himself from a very ordinary small community. So, and he attained the highest, he has seen both sides. Both sides of the coin you have seen. So now he can give this Aitreya Upanishad to us so we can understand it. So that is the story of, where Aitreya Upanishad is coming. Okay, now I think maybe we should stop because there are 4 or 5 paragraphs more. See, we are learning a lot, right? Before we go into it, we'll have a more interest now in this whole thing.
Actually, much is 4 or 5 pages, not only 4 or 5 paragraphs.
No, but we are going to read. Oh yes, there is. But we'll learn a lot. I think this it gives a tremendous background before we go into it. We'll have more value for it. Yes. Any question, comment? Sometimes we think that discrimination and all these things happen only now. पहले तो राम राज्य था, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. It's a duality. हर जगह लोग करते हैं ये. But what they are trying to teach us, don't get fazed by it. connect to God, and He will find you a way, and He will put you on a higher pedestal. You don't need to get swayed by the worldly comments, of people, of all kinds of things. Yeah. Okay, so I guess everybody is fine.
Yeah, Umaji, that word proletarian, they say it's like, it's not the lower caste, but the people who don't have any ownership of any kind of production, but just people who just have to sell their power to earn. They don't have, they don't have factories, they don't have machines or something. So that, I think it's nicely put that it's not the lower caste.
Nice.
it's,
Thank you for
people
that.
Who don't have the means to have something material to sell.
But so they sell their
the
labor.
labor.
Yes.
They're laborers.
Yes. Very nice. Yes. So this is what it is, that when we already did that in chapter 4, when it comes to so-called caste system, that's not the word, it's a varna vyavastha. Everybody gives what they have, but everybody is important. Because if the laborers are not there, we won't be able to function. One day, like India में बोलते हैं ना कि मुंबई में एक बाई नहीं आएगी तो वो मालकिन को बुखार चढ़ जाता है, Or here, suppose somebody, they don't come and pick up the garbage, then you will be like miserable, right? Like sometimes one week something happens and they don't pick up the garbage, tension ho jata hai. So everybody is important. So I think what you brought, that point is very, very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, so we will close here. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchit dukha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay.
Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.